Hi, welcome back to Live and Breathe Horses in Centre Christi La Luz, and today we are going to go on with part 2 of our little mini series about the scientific secret to moving with your horse. So today, excuse me, we're going to have a little look at the rising trot. So that's not so much about the thing of being able to physically sit with the horse, because of course you're rising, but there's still I thought it was just useful to add it in here. So before the riding, it's always good to do a few little stretches, just get your joints moving, especially your ankles. For the rising trot, for everything, your ankles should be flexible, feeling the grounding point in your feet, get your knees and your hips moving a bit, have a little stretch out. So, of course, that's relevant for the next 2 videos as well. So some nice exercise to do when you first get on your horse. And, of course, this will also go through for the next 2 videos. Just to feel where you're at, make sure you feel where your horse's feet are. And sometimes it's nice just to ride around, just put your hands on your hips and just feel how they're moving. You can have a hand on your centre, on your lower back, and just get a sense of where your centre is. Just really go into the feeling of that, changing hands on the 2 different sides. And I like just the idea of riding from your heart, and sometimes it's nice just to hold your hands on your heart as you ride around and just have the idea that that is what's leading the movement and that you're doing it with an open heart. So rising trot, it's always a thing with beginners because we tend to think we go up and down. And actually, we don't really. We go forward and back, forward and back. I mean, of course, it's a small up, but if you think up and down, it makes it really difficult. So that's the first point to remember, is that it's actually a forward and back movement. And as small a movement as you can possibly make. There should be no effort in it. It's just to allow the horse to lift you up and allow yourself to come softly back down into the saddle, So again, if we do this with a relaxed jaw, and letting the breath flow and find a rhythm of the breath with the trot. It depends on the trot of your horse, but, and just let this little soft ahs out, really to get the feel of that. Then it really, really transforms that movement and makes it much softer. So really the feel that the seat of your pants is basically keeping in contact with the saddle, that there's as little movement as possible. So a nice little practice, if you're struggling with that, or just to check it out, is to take the stirrups away. And then, of course, you can't go up too far. And just feel, without your stirrups, how you can just allow the horse's movement just to gently tip your pelvis forward and back. So that's a nice little one to try. So while we're talking about rising trot, we should also mention the diagonals, which diagonal you go up and down on, And, of course, on the arena, we usually sit on the inside back leg, because the moment you sit, it would be the moment you would use your legs and push your horse. So if you want to activate that leg, maybe depending what you're trying to achieve, you could do the opposite. I think the important thing to remember when we ride out and we're doing long sections of rising trot, to make sure we remember to change the diagonal, or maybe ride more on the more difficult one. Some horses are very one-sided on that, and sometimes they can even do little stumbles or to make you miss a beat, and before you realise you're back on the other diagonal again. So that's worth keeping in mind. Yeah, and I think the only other thing I want to mention with the rising trot is that it's a very, very useful tool for varying the rhythm, the pace, the speed of your horse, So if you rise more slowly, gently, then the horse should slow and stay with you. And you can put a bit more energy into your rising, and you can get a bigger, longer movement. So obviously the breath going in rhythm with that. So this can be a very effective way to, and a very subtle way just to guide your horse. Okay, so I think that's everything. We're going to go on with sitting trot in the next episode. So thank you very much for being here with us today, and keep tuning into the lights.